Hi, I'm Charles Pennington, and this is Harmonic Thought. People give a lot of credence to other people's views, and society has its own views that are harmonizing out there. And it's very easy to go out to the media and to get all this input that society puts out there and to make your judgments based on that, because it's just overload. It's just a matter of numbers. It's like, how many observations a day are you putting into looking at the media and looking at things that are being reported from a dying paradigm? And how many of them are you giving over to the good stuff? The slide in the front, you're going to have 79,200 opportunities to change your life. That's based on a half an hour talk. So in an hour, you've roughly got 108,000, whatever the number is. There's a doctor here, Dr. Dispenza, that was in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And there's some physicists in there and some scientists that are saying they're studying how we actually pop reality into existence, so to speak, popping that quark of reality. And through their calculations, they've got some, they call it folding proteins, that they find that are sort of making that connection and creating that reality, so to speak. And their number in that movie is 44 times a second. So 44 times every second you're popping your reality into existence, and you're observing everything that is, and it's happening so fast, you know, that looks just like an not a digital but an analog flow. And it really is an analog flow. I mean, but they're slicing it up into seconds, and that's what that slide references, is that every second you have an opportunity to do something. You could get up right now and leave. That would change both of our worlds pretty quick. Be like, hey, what happened? Yeah. You could stay here and we can talk and we can, you know, harmonize with each other and our thoughts, and, you know, both of our lives are going to be different now after this talk. And the reason why is because the harmony of energy, and it's writing it into your mind, and that harmony and that energy vibrates throughout the world, I mean, throughout the energy field, just like ripples in a pond do. Dr. Dispenza, the guy I was talking about, mind is what the brain does. I thought that was so cool. Yeah. Because we live, exactly. And it's that brain part, that conscious brain part that we're so tuned into, that reads the paper and go, well, the life is bad, because it's just point blank observation. And if you look at yourself and say mind is what the brain does, it sort of puts you back into an observing state. When I was 17 years old, I got to go into a sensory deprivation tank 4 times. Wow. Are you familiar with what one of those are? Yeah. The floating tanks and all that. The one I was in, yeah, salt water, and it's heavily salinated. It's about that deep, and you basically float half in and half out of the water, and they keep it at 98.6 degrees. So after about 5 minutes, you lay down, you're kind of moving around a little bit, and your body just settles into the water. And the one I was in was soundproof and lightproof. And so after about 10 minutes, your body doesn't exist, but you're there. So where are you? And so that was one of the greatest feelings, although an odd feeling at first. I was kind of like, wow. It was like being introduced to mind, the non-physical part of your being, and that's where it just lit up for me. I was like, wow, there's this whole observation that I can make of my life going by, and it's as a third party. I was talking to somebody the other day about emotions. They're like, well, how do I not get jacked up on emotions? Well, when you have an emotion and you're at that brain point and you're going, this person made me mad, and you're making this very negative energy ball, and you're packaging it up, making it heavy, and you're just holding it, and you're just placing it in and saying, I've got to deal with this. Rather than sitting back and saying, this is just an energy flow going through my life. Have the emotion. I mean, you don't want to displace the emotions, really, but you don't want to ball it up, and you want to make it like water. You can't grab water. Water is best when it's flowing. Energy is best when it's flowing. You can't grab energy, and when energy, it'll frustrate you to try. And so when you get to that third party sort of, I can look at my life and absorb it, get everything that I need out of it, and yeah, this is a negative thing, but it's all just data, really. You just need to take the data out of it, and it's like, you know, you're going to have the emotions. You're always going to have these emotions. You don't want to dry your life out to where you're just emotionless, because it's the contrast. Those emotions are the contrast that you're going to need to bounce off of. You know, because people ask, you know, what do I do with the bad stuff? Well, the bad stuff's just contrast, and it's there to bounce you in different directions. And if you can look at it that way, from the third party perspective, and say, oh, I'm just bouncing off of this thing, and where do I need to go from there? It makes dealing with them just a little bit easier.